Lutendo, thanks so much indeed for joining us. What's been happening in Polokwane, in Limpopo today?
Yeah, thank you so much, Peter. As you can see, we are still here at the Result Operation Center in Polokwane Peter Mokaba Stadium. This can see here the presiding officers counting the results. But of course, if you look at the scoreboard, there is blank. There is basically no results reflecting because the results have not been captured as yet. But if we go back to talk about the day that has been, it has been a day that I call uneventful. It was election that went on, as far as I'm concerned, that went on so fairly, and free. We visited a lot of polling stations where we see people lining up, queuing to cast their vote, upbeat about casting their vote, and we've seen in Sishihu where EFF president or the leader of EFF, Julius Malema, was there casting his vote at Mponahele Primary School. This is where he comes from, where he was born, where he grew up. And over there was a bit of drama when a group of EFF members sort of stormed into that polling station and singing praises to their leader. But of course, when that happened, some members from the ANC confronted them, and it led to a bit of confrontation, but later it fizzled, and the leader of the EFF, Julius Malema, also went out and criticized what happened, even though those members were singing lyrically about him. In general, the election went pretty well, and now I'm particularly interested in the results. Of course, that's why we're still here as they are counting. As soon as they start trickling in, we'll see what direction it's taking. Particularly engrossing is the fact that this is the stronghold for the ANC, and we want to see what will happen. You remember 2016 local government election, they suffered a few bouts of defeat, losing the Tabasimbi local municipality to some political party or opposition parties coalition, also losing Morimulle Mohopong, and also losing Ward 13 where Malema, the leader of EFF, comes from. They lost that ward to the EFF. Their goal, of course, has been to try to regain those municipalities and also some of the wards that they have lost. I want to see how they'll perform this time around. Are they going to regain those wards and those municipalities that they lost in 2016 local government elections, or are they going to suffer more? Will there be more upsets? But in areas like Vembe, I'm told they are still showing, they are still packing a powerful punch. I heard that in one of the wards there, out of 100 votes, they got 96, and 4 went to independent candidates. So this is basically what has been happening in the province. Now we're just waiting for results, counting, and then they start trickling in, and of course they get captured, and the result slip is signed, and then we start seeing the direction that it has been taken. Of course, we've been talking about low turnout. Also Limpopo, it showed some sort of a low turnout, but the last time I checked, it was second, just below the Northern Cape in terms of better turnout. As now we link to my colleague in Mpumalanga, Tumelo.
Well, thank you, Letondo, there in Limpopo. Here in Mpumalanga, low turnout also has been seen in Mpumalanga. We know that so far over 600 people voted in these elections. We're talking about 32.4% of people that have registered to vote. There's about over 1,900,000 those people that are registered to vote, but only about 600 or over 600 of them have casted their vote vote today. But we know that those are not the true reflections, because we know that the people, those who did home visit, those numbers still need to be captured because they have not been captured. But Peter, I can tell you that since we've been following the election throughout the day, we've been going to a number of polling stations, especially around here in Mbombela, because it's a hotly contested municipality, and also many wards are being contested by different political parties, the ANC, the DA, the Freedom Front Plus. They are waiting to make sure that they make a dent within this municipality, because you know that the ANC has been running this municipality for a long time. So the EFF, the DA, and the FF Plus, they have been working very hard to ensure that they make a dent here. No votes have been counted so far. We know that they have not been counted across the province, but in this area we've been seeing not a lot of people actually throughout the day going out there to vote. We're going to a number of polling stations only to find about 4 people or 3 people in the polling stations. One polling station, it did have like a lot of people, but that was about 30 people in the afternoon, and that's why the low turnout has been seen in across the province. But the IEC says that they had a smooth run of these elections in the province. They're saying that they had incidents, but they managed to deal with these incidents that have been caused in throughout the day. We understand that a presiding officer in White River in Hillsview in one of the ward there was arrested after he pointed a gun at someone. We understand that some ballots that were mixed up and sent to different polling stations, and then they found that later that these ballots, they are not supposed to be at those polling stations. They were mixed up, but because they didn't want to disenfranchise these people that have already casted their votes, those matters were resolved by party agents and the IEC itself. We know that the issue we had protest in Bushbuck Ridge and also in Piet Retief area, and also some voting stations had to be closed early there. But we understand some polling stations were again open later in the afternoon, and people could continue voting throughout the day there, Peter. But we know that the turnout in Mpumalanga itself was very, very low. 32.4% of people actually casted their vote here in Mpumalanga. You can imagine, because you know these provinces, I've been seeing a lot of people going out in their numbers, especially political parties, encouraging people to go out there and vote. We know that this municipality in Mbombela, the Steve Tshwete municipality, those are the highly contested municipality, Emalahleni, because these are the economic hubs of this province, and they're hoping that these parties that have been contesting, they want to win these municipalities because they want to keep ensure that the economic hubs of these provinces, they continue as they are. But we know that the political parties that have been contesting in this election, they are actually trying to make sure that they make a dent within where they have seen that they are not been doing very well, also to ensure that they go out there to ensure that they encourage people to vote. But the voting has been on a very low, and then and also there were more women registered to vote in this province than men, but we've seen even today there were more women in polling station than more women in the polling station. But the numbers are expected to start trickling in, and especially of those votes are starting to trickle in, and then they will be counted. They are still being counted as we speak. Have started counting, and we're hoping to start seeing numbers getting in here maybe in the next 2 to 3 hours. That's when we're going to start seeing numbers coming in. But Peter, I can tell you that the voter turnout was very low, and also the incidents in the province were not so big. They say that they managed to ensure that they resolve all the matters that were raised by the voters, party agents, and also the IEC itself. They managed to ensure that they deal with those situations. But we're going to have to link to our reporter in KwaZulu-Natal. Mlundi is there. Hi there, Mlundi.
Thank you very much, Tumelo. We are in KwaZulu-Natal, just Peter Marisbeck, in Kwaqaluza, Ward 20 of Umsunduzi. local municipality. You'd remember that in this municipality, the EFF candidate Tulani Shangase was gunned down in this ward, and the EFF believed that Shangase was the favorite person in this ward, but we will wait for the results as they've started counting as well in this polling station to try and find out who is the ward councillor in this municipality. I will just go back to the events during the day. During the day, we went to Kambatini local municipality near Camperdown, where 8 voting stations over the weekend did not operate due to the community locking the voting stations because they believe that if the voting stations are opened, they demanded that the inkosi of that area must be reinstated because he was removed by the KwaZulu-Natal government without telling them the reasons. But we tried to speak to the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Baba Usihle Zigalala, in relation to that, and he said that the people of that area must go and vote, and the problem of traditional leadership, it will be discussed in proper channels to try and resolve the matter in that area. Today, the voting stations were opened. We did see the community members from Kwanyavu going to the voting stations in their numbers to go and cast their votes. But there was also one voting station that was banned this morning. Basically, one classroom was partially banned, but in that classroom, the IEC was keeping their material for voting. But they managed to reopen that voting station at around 11 o'clock, and the voters also came back to the voting station and voted. We also did see the members of the SAPS as well as the members of SANDF trying to assist IEC during the day in that area, as well as here in Pietermaritzburg. In this voting station especially, the members of the SANDF are here to assist. They are basically trying by all means to make sure that there is peace in the area. But when you're walking around the Umsunduzi local municipality, most of the wards that we managed to walk in them, basically drive through them, the voters were voting, and even though they were chanting their struggle songs, but they showed us that there is a tolerance when it comes to political parties managing to sing together. Others were standing next to each other outside the voting station, trying to make sure that voters, when they come in, they try their luck for the last time, as we understand that this is the day that is the biggest day for every political party in this municipality. Umsunduzi municipality has got about 41 seats in this municipality. Basically, those seats are for wards. So everyone is looking forward to get as much seats as possible, because you'd understand that currently in the 2016 local government election, the ANC managed to get 30 seats, and then the other 9 is the Democratic Alliance, who are the opposition party in this municipality. But the new demarcation added a new 2 seats, new wards in this municipality. So everyone is looking forward to make sure that they get at least a seat so that they will be able to run the municipality, because this municipality, they are saying that is not well run, and residents, especially in this municipality, they always complain, they always protest about water, electricity, because they call it, there's a load shedding that is done by this local municipality. Also, there's also water shedding in other areas, and they also complain about the refuse that is not collected by the municipality. So they in this time of the year, they are voting to make sure that they want a new government that will make sure that this city is clean, this city provides the residents with water and electricity that will be able to make things better for them. Back to you, Peter, in studio.